Hey guys, it's Jeremy again, and I am back for a book review, and the book that I will be reviewing for you guys today is going to be on Gabriel'S Inferno by Sylvain Renard. This jumped to my number one favorite book I have ever read in my entire life. That's huge, huge, because those top two were Harry Potter, The Edge of Never, and The Fault in Our Stars, and The Perks of Being a Wallflower. So those books I hold in such high regard. It's right up there with City of Bones in my eyes. This was such a beautiful book, and I'm going to do the very best of my ability to give you a really good review of this, because it's one of my favorite books, and I hope this is going to be one of my favorite reviews that people will really enjoy watching. As always, I will start with my non-spoiler section, because this is an adult novel. I would recommend, if you're interested, any 17 and up can read this. There's some language in here, but, I think easily maybe 16, 17 could easily read this without a problem. It's not like other books I've read, like In Flight or Bare to You, or novels like those. This one is very, very different, and I think almost anybody could really read this and enjoy it. It is considered a contemporary romance, so yes, I highly recommend readers to read it. We will start with the non-spoiler section first. This book is about Julia Mitchell, who is taking a class at the University of Toronto. She is there to get her master's in Dante, because she wants to study Dante as in Dante Alighieri, the famous author who wrote the 7 Circles of Hell or 9 Circles of Hell. It's one of them. I'm not really sure. And yeah, she's there to get her master's degree when she's taking a course taught by Gabriel Emerson. Let's just say he is a complete asshole when he first speaks to her. I guess she was not paying attention in class, and he's like, "You meet me after class," and so very curt and punctual, and she was like, "Oh my God, what did I do? No." So yes, she's very off-put about that. She's like, "Oh no, what did I do? What did I do?" And so she goes after class, and she stands outside his door, and she overhears him on the phone with somebody, and she learns that he just lost his mother, his adoptive mother, which was Julia's best friend Rachel, which is Julia's best friend's mother. And my heart broke for him, because I personally have very personal experience what it's like to lose your mother. I lost mine when I was 12, so I related to that a lot, and kind of teared up quite a few times. It brought back some memories. That's just fun, right? So I really related to that situation, and it is a beautiful, beautiful love story. I'm going to try not to give too much away, because there's a lot of surprises in here, and I don't want to give it away, but it's about a kind of a student-teacher relationship. I know people are like, "Oh, great," but it's really, really beautiful, and I highly recommend you to read it. It's one of my faves. I loved it so much, and it's just so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I loved the way it was written. Sylvain Renard is a fantastic writer, and I'm not sure if that's a he or a she author. I think it's a pen name. I'm not sure if that's actually the author's name. But what's interesting in this book is she knows him from her past. She knows who he is, but he doesn't remember who she is. They've met already years and years ago, but he doesn't remember who she is. So it's kind of his story of remembering who she is. Remember the time that they shared together, and it is a wonderful and just a very beautiful story, and I cannot recommend this book enough to everybody. If you are a sucker for romance, if you want a good story, this one is quite thick, then I highly recommend this book. Highly recommend it. So with that, I will enter the spoiler section. So if you have not read this book, I would go away, because I will be talking about a few key points in the book and what kind of things happened, and then I will be going off of my quote section and reading some of my favorite quotes from the book. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye. anytime anything like really disturbing happened, I was like, I wanted to disappear. I wanted to crawl in a ball and just disappear into another world for hours. There's so many situations. He ridicules everything in Julia's life. Gabriel, come on, we like you, but we want to like you. You have to be a little more nicer to her. He talks crap about how she eats, what she drinks, her apartment, her freaking clothes, her backpack. Like, what are you doing to her? Do you want her to hate you? Seriously? Seriously. This book. So many feelings happened in this, so many emotions, so many feels. The feels happen in this book, even though it's only the first book in the series. But it's so good. I'm gonna stop gushing and give you the actually, like, thing. But so many shenanigans, so many things really off-put about me. Julia comes from a very, very dark past, but for the most part, she is extremely innocent. And I kind of see Julia as this little mouse. She's very, very kind, very considerate. She cares for other people a lot. Once again, very much like me, so I really connected with her character. And Gabriel, he comes from a troubled past as well. Something huge and major twist, was not seeing that at all in this book, really came about, and they're both very, they come from very troubled pasts, and they're very, very different characters. Gabriel is very different from Julia, but he does love her, and you know, once you get into the story, of course, he definitely loves her quite a lot. Oh, sorry about that, my eye's twitching. And it's just a beautiful story. Julia has a best friend named, or more like acquaintance friend named Paul, who does not like Gabriel at all. And then Julia has her best friend Rachel, which she's known forever. And I liked that Julia and Gabriel went to Rachel's house for Thanksgiving. That was really, really sweet. Rachel's big background was she had a crazy ex-boyfriend named, I think I forgot his name. I'm sorry, but I don't think his name was mentioned very much. But she has a really insanely crazy ex-boyfriend, and he tries to rape her. Ooh, that's just so not pleasant at all. So Gabriel comes and beats the crap out of him, punches his face, then basically he's taken to the hospital, he's put in jail, and all the shenanigans happen that way. That's really interesting, right? I'm not going to tell you guys what happened to Gabriel, because I was so surprised by it. Even though this is the spoiler section and everything, I really just don't want to spoil it. It's one of the biggest twists in this book, and I just don't want to ruin it for anybody. Just so you guys know what happened. If you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about. You know I was like, whoa, I was really surprised by it. It was crazy. And yeah, I know this is not much of a review, sorry, but I really don't want to give anything away. Another thing I wanted to point out was this author, Sylvain Renard, went to very extremes to write such a, not only is the writing very beautifully, this book is beautifully written. I want to point that out. I really want to point that out really early before I forget. I love the way the author writes, and then in my quote section, I'll show you a few quotes that just love so much, and I'll get to that in a minute. The cover is really pretty on the side and the back, and I love the quote on the back. It says, "You're a magnet for Miss Mitchell, and I'm a magnet for sin." Oh, this is definitely a kind of a redemption storyline romance, which I thought was sweet. Another thing that kind of took me a while to get through the book is there's a lot of words on these pages. I mean, not crazy a lot, but it definitely had quite a bit. And another thing, the food. Another thing I want to point out is this author went through so much. From there were texts in Italian mythology and in Latin that I researched. I want to know what's going on. I want to know what they're looking at, from pieces of artwork to close-ups of things, and it was just so interesting that this author entwined so much of that. And I really like the story of Dante and Beatrice. That whole storyline of them is intertwined in this story, and it's really beautiful how their story ties to Gabriel and Julia's story, and it's really, really beautiful. That kind of ends my review. Sorry, it's not really much of a review, it's more of a just rant, but I honestly, it's one of those books that I don't want to give away too much. It just, so much happens in this book, and I don't want to say anything that could completely spoil everything. So I will get to my spoiler, that's not a thing. I will start my quotes that I'm going to read to you, and it's in my little Yoda binder thing. I got this from Target, it was $1, so... Anyway, I have a lot in here that I wrote down. If you have any that I haven't said, please let me know. I'm sure there are thousands of more quotes. This book is pretty hefty, so there's a lot I'm probably missing. So I'm gonna read to you guys now and just show so many quotes that I love. Why not think that sometimes, just sometimes, you can overcome evil with silence and let people hear their hatefulness in their own ears without distraction. Maybe goodness is enough to expose evil for what it really is sometimes, rather than trying to stop evil with more evil. If I am the darkness, you are the stars. So damn cute. Thank you for making everything beautiful just by being. Really? Oh my god, that's so adorable. I don't believe in fairy tales, she breathed. I like to make you believe. It's different, excuse me, it's difficult to know what's worse, being hit or being ignored. I guess it depends on what kind of pain you prefer. Being without you, Julian, is like enduring an endless night without stars. My God. Scars might bleed, and we might forget them. But in time, they're permanent. Not even Jesus lost his scars. I've always had a weakness for beautiful but sad things. If I have a soul, it's yours. You blossom under kindness, don't you? Like a rose. Bad things happen to everyone. Not that this is a justification for wronging another human being. Still, all humans had this shared experience. That of suffering. No human being left this world without shedding a tear or feeling pain or wading into a sea of sorrow. Those are all of my favorite quotes from this book. The last one is my #1 favorite. That's why I wanted to save it for last. I highly recommend Gabriel's Inferno to everybody. Go get this book. Go recommend it to your friends. Don't tell them about the quotes. This book had so many that I loved, and I read all the ones that really stuck out to me. I want to get your opinions on this book. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Tell that all down in the comments. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. Thank you for watching this review, and I will see you guys next time in another review that I make. Bye!